Hey, this is Neil, the 604 Atheist, and you're watching Atheist Edge on the YouTube. Cheers.
Jonathan from Nat One Heroes. He's I would say, a professional Dungeons and Dragons player, which is what every 14-year-old dreams of. But it's awesome.
That and getting laid.
I haven't, I haven't played actual sit down. There's something to be said for sit down pen and paper Dungeons and Dragons play, which I haven't done since like 2013, and I'm so chomping at the bit to get back at it.
I would love to get to where I'm doing in-person games again, and where I can bring in my woodworking and other shit to make models and stuff like that. That's what I would like to do again.
Man. Anyway, so what we're going to do today, what I was thinking about doing is I devised a 10-question quiz originally I devised it to weed out my social media followers. Like, if you score under an 80 on this, A, never Procreate, B, immediately unfriend me because I don't want anything to do with you.
Now I'm worried about how I'm going to do on it.
It started out a little rash, because again, I mean, you and I just had a conversation with a guy who thinks we're going to hell. I've had beers with this guy. According to my original line of logic, I can't be friends with him anymore. So I went too far.
Now, I look at that, and really what I want to push back when a guy asks like that is, do you think it's good that I'm going to go to hell?
No, he probably is very saddened by that aspect. It's just that it's according to his dogma, and he wishes it could be different. I'm just putting words in his mouth, but.
And the question is, do you think that something that would do that to me is a good thing?
I don't know. Well, I'm only speaking for my believer friends. None of them would say that. They all are very saddened by that. All right, Jonathan. I tried to reach out to an atheist right-wing friend of mine. She didn't respond to me. So all I have is us two liberals. So this is going to be biased, but it's based in fact. This quiz, it doesn't matter who you are. If you do happen to lean right and you're answering this quiz, it still applies to you. So here we go. Question number one. The burning of fossil fuels is the number one contributor to the dangerous levels of atmospheric CO2.
That sounds correct.
You are correct. Is there anything you want to add to that? There are those that would say that, okay, it is true.
There are those who would go back and insist that stuff like volcanoes puts more into the atmosphere. It's pretty bad, actually. It's there, but there's nothing we can really do about volcanoes. I would add that the beef industry, specifically in the rainforest and with its deforestation, also adds a lot of CO2 to the atmosphere.
Well, you said two things there. You said factory farming, and deforestation, both of which are man-made as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So what this is trying to say is our problems, and we do have a problem, and it is a big one, and we have already hit 5 of the 9 carbon tipping points, and we're probably past the point of no return. Is due 100% in a great overwhelming majority percentage to human beings.
Yes.
You mentioned factory farming. Bovine flatulence is number 3 on the list. So it's not just CO2, it's also methane. There are those that say, okay, just like you said, natural events, volcanoes, and I would say the fact that we're on the ass end of the last ice age. We're coming off an ice age. So the globe would be warming anyway. Yes, it would. We are causing much more than that. It is making it wouldn't be catastrophic if it weren't for us.
Yes.
Correct. Okay, question number 2. How old is the Earth? A, about 10,000. Huh?
Okay, go ahead.
No, you just tell me before I say the answers.
7 billion, I think, is the estimate. Somewhere in there.
You're real close. Right? A, 10,000 years. B, 4.55 billion years.
B.
Yeah. You said 7 billion. It's actually 4.56 billion or 4.55 billion, but it's in that ballpark. And of course,
Hmm.
we know who we're talking about, the ones who think it's 6 to 10,000 years old. You are dead wrong. Sorry to
Yes.
burst your bubble. Um, no, the vast overwhelming evidence says that you're a complete moron.
Hmm.
Thanks for playing.
Yep.
Question 3. Demons and angels exist and they work actively for the welfare or the detriment of humankind.
No,
A, definitely, or B, probably not.
not B.
Notice I put probably not because we can't be sure. I mean, who knows?
I mean,
You know,
there could be a teapot in geosynchronous orbit that poops marshmallows that unicorns ejaculate on. But, it, I'm going to go ahead and say no to that, you know?
if there was a shred of evidence, testable, repeatable, peer-reviewed scientific evidence that even just one scrap that an angel first off exists and it can directly interfere with human activities, then maybe we can have a conversation. But right now,
Yeah.
it's pure speculation.
Mhm.
And people live there. 41% of the United States thinks angels exist and that they actually do stuff for us. Like
Yeah.
like guardian angels that protect us when we're on the highway, for instance.
It's a nice thought, but no.
Next question. Wearing face masks helps slow the spread of SARS-CoV-2.
Yes.
Guess how many people say that is not true and it's a hoax?
A non-zero amount,
Yes,
unfortunately.
a very non-zero amount. That
What,
it's
30?
I don't know. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but there are enough people to try to sway public opinion. Yeah, 30 is a conservative estimate probably.
Hmm.
Viruses are very small, and yes, they can go through a cloth mask, but viruses don't travel on their own. They attach to globules of mucus. So when you sneeze, when you talk, when you yell, when you sing, the virus comes out attached to mucus globules, which get trapped in the cloth mask. Is it 100% effective? No. Does it help slow the spread? Yes, it does. If you're in a big gathering and you don't want to get COVID, you can help that, or you don't want, forget getting COVID. You might be a carrier. You might have it and not know it. If you don't want to give it to other people, an old person that could die from it, a young child, uh, wear a fucking mask, right? Next question. An organized act of rebellion against an established government by a group of its citizens is called A, a peaceful
Ooh.
protest, B, an insurrection attempt.
Be an insurrection attempt.
You know where I'm going with this one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
If you are actively trying to affect the outcome, the established outcome of a nationwide election, and you don't have any evidence that there was there voter fraud? Was there? There might have been. Every incidence of voter fraud that I've ever seen, it's been in favor of the Republicans.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is the same way I've seen it.
And that voter fraud wasn't near the 7 million votes Trump needed to win in 2020.
The most I've heard of is like a handful. Less than 5 is what I've heard of.
I've heard maybe a dozen myself. And
Yeah.
not all of them, but most of them were Republicans trying to get over. And they've been indicted, they've been prosecuted. There's been what now, by last count, maybe 63 court cases that have been brought to various federal and circuit appeal courts, and all of them got shut down. There's not enough evidence. There's no evidence to even make a ruling. They're fraud.
They can't even get the Trump judges to buy off on
No,
it. I mean,
no. Biden won. Your boy lost. Get over it. You
yeah,
lost.
I'm not even a Biden fan, and I'm just like, yeah, Biden won. I voted for him.
If I were Biden right now, I'd be so pissed. Getting
Yeah.
hamstringed by Manchin and that other chick,
Cinema,
Cinema.
is that it?
Jesus
Yeah.
fucking Christ. You know, we have control of all three. No, the Supreme Court is fully conservative now. We have control of two of the three bodies of legislation,
Mm.
Congress and the executive,
Presidency.
the executive branch, the
Do
legislative
you know
branch.
that my representative does not even know the three branches of government?
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at this point.
Yeah.
They know which caliber round goes into a M16, though.
I was trained in firearms in the Navy, but I was never enthusiastic about it, to be honest.
You were a
It's
sailor
not
and
my
you
thing.
actually touched a weapon.
Oh yeah, we had to qualify.
I know sailors that made it through an entire 4 years and never touched a weapon, even in boot camp.
Well, I was on submarines. Keep in mind, Jim, it's a smaller crew, so there are a lot more responsibilities divided up among a smaller crew. Like, you still have to have an armed watch presence. There's just not like military police to draw on for that.
You have a master at arms on a sub, I'm guessing, same as any other platform, right?
We do. It's typically a torpedo man who takes over that role.
So it's all cross training since you have such a
Oh,
small
cross
crew.
training because we have a small crew. Yeah.
Wow. I was on the biggest ship I was ever on was a Gatling missile cruiser. It was 537 sailors, a law enforcement detachment of Coast Guardsmen for the drug narcotics transfers, to intercept narcotics, and then me, one Marine, and I was the electronic intelligence interceptor and the Spanish linguist, and I was the guy on the bridge that the captain brought up to get on the 1MA. Was it called 1MA? The big PA system to broadcast
1MC.
1MC. That's it. I was
Number
the
one main circuit or whatever it stands
1MC.
for. I forget about that.
Yeah, I was the one. They called me up whenever they actually when they were about to board a vessel. The 7 Coast Guardsmen, when they suspected narcotics trafficking, I'd get up there to say in Spanish, "We are United States Coast." We would actually for the law of the sea. The Navy cannot intercept narcotics transfers. So we would literally lower the Navy flag and raise the Coast Guard flag when it was time to intercept.
My brother was Coast Guard.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You had to do that for the law of the sea. And I would say, the United States Coast Guard, we're about to prepare to be boarded. We're about to board your vessel. Gather up all your dogs and other animals into cages and muster on the bow. And we're about to inspect your ass. And one time we found 3.5 metric tons of cocaine on a trawler. And that took all day to get off. Okay, anyway. Okay, here we go. A worldwide.
I was originally 4 metric tons of cocaine when you got there.
Well, the thing was, it was hot, so the Marines, we had our sleeves rolled up. And so we had naked forearms, and you're doing what's it called? The chain gang, where you get online and everyone passes off to each other up the gangplank.
Daisy chain.
Yes. I've heard it different. I've heard it called something different, maybe chain gang or make a chain. I forget what it's called.
On submarines, we called it daisy chain. You make a chain. You make a chain.
Daisy chain. That's good.
Well, because it's all daisies and sunshine when you're doing that. It's not so hard when you.
But in porn, daisy chain is a circle of guys sitting around in a circle jerking each other off.
It was probably intentional.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, so we're moving kilos, bricks, and by the end of the day, we're wondering why we have so much energy, and when we're
on the gums.
Life was good, boy. And so
God, I need to find a legal upper.
Tell you what, just the residue on the outside of the container of each package was enough. And so we got a 1 year moratorium on drug testing from that day forward. We were exempt from drug testing for 1 year. All right, let's get through this. A worldwide flood killed all but 8 humans.
No, that's absolute bullshit.
What can I say? Guess how many people think the entire Earth was killed except for 8 humans? Yeah. You were worried that you were going to score less than 80%, weren't you?
I can see why you weren't worried about that.
The flood didn't happen, people. I can go into so many reasons why scientifically there's not enough water to reach the top of Mount Everest.
I mean, that's it.
Yeah. And how long would it take a sloth in the Amazon or a koala in Australia to make it all the way to the Ark, and then never leave a trace after the flood subsided and get all the way back down to Australia and don't
without ever leaving a trace again?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All life on Earth has a common ancestor.
Yeah.
I would almost say we're the minority position. I would say more Americans do not think that's true, which is a damn shame.
That's scary.
It's very scary. Every leaf, every tree, every plant, every animal species, every fish, we all came from a common ancestor.
Mm-hmm.
Prayer is effective. Is there any efficacy whatsoever in prayer? Any scientific study that's ever been done on the intercessory efficacy of prayer?
Okay. Intercessory prayer has been proven not to work.
What about personal prayer? When you're praying for
personal prayer in works in situations, but I think it's more comparable to deep thinking or meditation, just where you calm yourself down. Like, you're in a cave-in, you're hyperventilating, you take a moment, you pray, that calms you down enough, you have more oxygen, you're going to survive, whatever. But there's not some mystical, force that's coming down to like give you more oxygen or something.
I didn't think of that angle. I thought of the placebo effect, where if you think it's helping, your brain can help. Your brain has healing properties if you positive thoughts.
It is the placebo effect in some ways.
Right. Yeah. Who controls the global price of fuel? World leaders or oil conglomerates?
Oil conglomerates.
I was at the gas station just the other day, and it's very common to see stickers of Biden on the next to the price saying, "I did that."
Here's what
idiot.
irritates the hell out of me. We discussed this earlier. I have a master's in business. Like, am I the leading expert on fuel specifically? Definitely not. But I feel like I should be able to exercise some level of authority when talking about pricing and stuff like that. There are people who have flunked out of high school who speak more confidently on the subject than I do, and it pisses me the hell off.
Confidence does not equal accuracy.
This is true.
The Dunning-Kruger effect.
Yeah. And the Dunning-Kruger effect is
alive and well.
I like the way it's used, even if it's not technically accurate to the actual study, but I like the way it's used, so I'm going to keep on using it.
There was widespread U.S. election fraud in 2020.
No.
We already talked about this one. At last count, 63 court cases shot down. Every time they tried to show any evidence, there's none to be had. There's no evidence. Your boy lost. Get over it. You know what? You're probably going to win big on this midterm coming up in November. Congratulations in advance. But your boy didn't win in 2020. And it's just him being butthurt. He didn't win. Mm-hmm. He already knew what he was going to do when he thought there was a chance he would lose. He already had it all planned out.
Yeah. I have been a Trump hater since his reality TV days. So, I hated Trump before it was cool. Just throwing that out there. But this is what he does anytime something doesn't go his way. He throws a hissy fit, makes money off of it.
All the phone recordings and text messages that are coming out, Mark Meadows and others,
Mhm.
it's so delicious to see Jim Jordan and McCarthy saying what they really think about Trump behind the
Yep.
scenes when they think no one's listening.
Yep.
No one likes that bitch. Your own people don't like him. Why are you still hanging on to him? I don't get it. He's your
Mhm.
messiah, I guess. I don't know. And you think he's devout? Biden is a hardcore Catholic. If you want someone devout that really loves their Jesus, switch sides. Trump only worships one thing, that green dollar bill.
Mhm.
If you're a true Christian and you want someone that really wants to promote Christianity, you're on the wrong side. Biden's your guy. And like you said, I'm not a huge fan of Biden either. But you want someone
Oh
that
no,
really,
his
yeah,
tough on crime bullshit in the 90s is largely why we have the world's largest prison population. Like, it pisses me the hell off.
the prison industrial complex, the
Yeah,
for-profit prisons.
he
Yep,
helped out with that a lot with the war on drugs. He continued that bullshit.
yep. So how did you score? I think you got 100%. I was just answering
Cool.
randomly. I was just clicking buttons. I got a 50 just now. So I guess I have to unfriend myself. um, these are facts, people. There's no denying it. It's most of these are not debatable. You want to talk about the flood? You know what? I'll entertain you, but it's really not a debatable subject. Uh, the Earth was not flooded, and only 8 people survived. It never happened. I can name at least a dozen different fields of scientific endeavor that conclusively will prove that the flood could never have happened. It didn't happen. Uh, there was never an Adam and Eve. The Earth is closer to 5 billion years than it is 10,000. Sorry. Anything you want to add to that?
Facts don't care about your feelings, even though the guy who's famous for saying that on Twitter cares more about his own feelings than he cares about facts.